Hi, everyone. I'm here with Raylina Valenzuela. Thanks for being here, Raylina.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, so Raylina is our assistant fitness director at Parkway Athletic Club in South Reno. Very busy club.
Very busy
So
club.
we're going to talk about, I guess we're really talking about people's goals
Yes.
when they train. Some people are all about appearance, and some people are about functionality. What we mean about doing functional exercises is specificity of movement and movements that are going to make you strong for your daily activities. Now, age matters, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with having both goals, right?
Yep. Oh, and so what's nice about when people say, like, am I too old to start this or one thing or another? No, your muscle will adapt at any age, with proper form and education and pretty much anything that you do. So I work at a place in South Reno where the average age here is 71. 71. So does that mean that any 70 or, older
That's
people come
older
into the
than
club?
me.
Yeah, I listen to the stories. And so I get a lot of good information from them. When we talk about muscle gaining or functionality and they're like one thing or the other, one of their immediate thing is, am I too old for this? Can I even do this? My question is yes. Or my answer, I apologize, is yes. And the reason why is these are, regardless if you do muscle
Yes, you
or
can do it.
function, yes, yes, your body will adapt. That's just the way it is. Now, one is going to do more than the other, and that's what we're going to get into in just a moment.
Well, let's just clarify. If you're 75 or 80 or older and you've never exercised, and I know you know this because maybe you have people who have never exercised.
I do.
That's
Yes.
weird to me. I've been a gym rat for 50 years. But if you get someone who's never exercised, never done resistance training, and they're 75 or 80 or maybe even older, they will get surprising results, won't they?
Absolutely. Sometimes we set, not I, we, my whole team, we just set expectations and we show them how to get to it, reminding them that it's not going to be an explosive overnight type thing. But when you keep at something, you're going to get something out of it, regardless of what you do, resistance training, starting a new job, starting a new company, whatever. But you're going to get something out of it when you have that knowledge and safety.
Now, everyone out there who's doing resistance training and exercise and doing things, who's even my age, who have been doing this for literally 50 years, those results are much harder to come by, but you can still get them
Mhm.
amazingly. Now, I'm not in my bodybuilding shape or football shape that I was when I was 22, 23 years old, but you can make gains. But surprisingly, and it's exciting what you can do if you've never done it before. You can really make results. Get your protein up a little bit and find someone to show you the right techniques and exercise, and you can really get results. So, tell us a little more about this, what you're thinking about the difference between something that's functional, something that's both, or something that's just, physique oriented, where you just want to look better. And some people have all these goals.
Yes, and they will. And so, again, it's just what are your goals? Once you identify and figure out what those are, it makes it a little bit easier to gear into a certain path or the other. Muscle training with like that type of style, what that's going to do is muscular strength. You're going to have muscle growth, so hypertrophy. Functional training, which is, what we're talking a little bit now, you're going to have more balance and coordination, mobility and joint stability. And you would transfer a lot of those movements that you're training in a gym from functional training to daily life for sport related activities of whatever said person is doing. Now, the question that many people ask me is like, should I do one? Should I do other? The answer is why not both? Because you not want to not only appear strong, but actually move stronger. So putting a combination of both is going to put like gear you or build that foundation for what you're looking for. But if you had to choose one or the other, again, it goes back to your goals. Do you want to look stronger, move 300 pounds? But then when you go up to the stairs and you're like, dang, my knees hurt, my back hurts. And that's where functional training comes in because you're moving in different planes and you're really adding in other things besides traditional weights, barbells, dumbbells, machines, Smith racks, weight plates. With functional, you do medicine balls, suspension trainers, resistance bands, kettlebells, rotations, moving your body through different planes safely and then also with purpose.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the functional movements. A functional movement, one that I do just about every time I'm in the gym, is I push a sled. I push the sled, hold my arms out, push it, and then I pull the sled. And I just worked all the muscles in my lower body and some of the muscles in my upper body. And
And then your heart rate is pumping because
yeah, sure, it's great. It's a great exercise. I do it almost every day. I'll push the sled back and forth 2 to 5 times. So I'm not isolating muscles like if I was bodybuilding or if I want to make my arms look better, I might work my biceps. Well, I would. I'd work my biceps and my triceps. That's not functional, really. But pushing a sled relates to your daily activities. When you push a shopping cart, it's going to be really easy if you're used to pushing a sled, isn't it?
yes, absolutely. You could even combine both of them. You know, some examples is like doing a traditional deadlift with potentially like a kettlebell swing. So you're in those, front plane movements, you're building for that muscle strength, but then you're also challenging the rest of your body with implementing different types of movements with it, like a kettlebell swing, where you're hinging and then creating force and mobility through the movement. So I would combo both of them. And that's what I do with my clients. And I know that a lot of my trainers here at South Reno, they do it with theirs.
How about a farmer's carry?
Man, what do you do when you're bringing in one load of groceries? What is that? A farmer's carry. It translates to daily activity. We like to do a lot of challenging, and so in our evaluations, we ask people, "What are some of your pain points?" Because I want your life to be as easy or as simple as possible because you're here for a reason. So how can we manipulate the things that we have in the gym to make your life transition easier?
Yeah, I grabbed a little 2-pound um, kettlebell today and I was walking around with it. People go, "What are you doing?" I'm doing a farmer's carry, one arm. They just they just laugh at me. I'm I'm joking, right? But they still think it's funny. If I ever want to get a laugh, I just get my little 2-pounder and just got to do a lot of reps.
Yeah, a lot of reps are like really time under tension. You're real slow tempo movements and things like that.
So
And farm
if I'm
I apologize.
seriously going to do it, I'll take a couple 35-pound plates and I'll walk up the stairs and down the stairs. And we have stairs in all of our clubs.
Yeah, use those. You don't just go up and downstairs. Use them for your training. You're using them in your daily activity. Why not challenge yourself in a safe environment?
Yeah, I
What I
notice
like,
it really gets your legs when you go down the steps and you've got a 35-pounder in each hand. That's 70 pounds. That's really, you
yeah, and
feel
that
it.
relates to your grip strength as well. And so think as you get older, how much less strength you have in different areas that you just didn't realize in the moment. So when you're challenging yourself to these functional movements, you start recognizing the benefits outside.
Yeah, and those are some examples of functional exercises which relate to now it's easier to get out of the chair. Now it's easier to get off the ground. But and so older people do functional work, but so do athletes, right?
If you're smart, you would do, again, a combo of both because your body doesn't just move one way or the other. Doing both of them is anybody can do functional if we're going to be 100% honest. Anybody can. Your body moves, you can functionally train it. But as far as building muscle, that takes a little bit more dedication, protein, carbs, as you mentioned earlier.
So I'm sure like most of our trainers have all of their clients do functional exercises, right? I mean, it's rare that you're going to have a client that says, I just want to get pretty arms or I want to make my chest big or work my calves. So, I mean, always, I have never seen any of our trainers in any of our clubs not doing at least some functional exercises.
And it's funny that you say that because many people will come into the club and it could be a gentleman. He goes, now 20 years ago, 30 years ago, however long, I had these big chests, big muscles, and that could be their goal again at first. But then as they are moving their body and we're asking certain things of them, they're starting to realize, don't think I can do that as well as I did before. But I really liked how we challenge in a different way and bringing functionality into it. So goals may change. And that's what's awesome about both of them is that once you get to a really good foundation, you can, like I've said plenty of times already, you can do both. And so it makes everything, every goal that you set a much more attainable after you're able to move your body as easily and as seamlessly as you did 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm sure you believe this as people do these exercises, the functional stuff, they're going to notice that things are easier. Hey, I get right out of the chair. I can get right off the toilet. I can jump right off of it now. And just their daily activities, especially if they're older, become easier. And if they're athletes, hey, I can jump 2 inches higher. I can spike the volleyball harder. I can run faster. I can jump higher. If you're 18, 19, 20, and you're an athlete, you're going to improve your athletic performance by doing functional exercises.
Yes. Yes. And there's a reduced amount of injury too if you're able to move your body to its function, its full function too. But like if yes, sorry, I have so many talking points and I'm like, I want to hit all of them,
Yeah,
and like
okay. Well, I'm
if
gonna
this
let
is
you just go, and let's talk a little bit about the things that make you look pretty, like bicep curls, tricep extensions, and all that stuff. Those are things that are gonna make let's talk about, okay, how do we get those nice round shoulders and stuff?
shoulders.
That's where you isolate muscles, and functional exercises will do that, but isolating them will do better, right?
Yeah, with functional training, it's harder to measure that type of, I guess, progress in doing something like muscle building. And so in functional, you notice a lot more stamina, a lot more endurance. But if you're looking for some of those features, toning, bigger, defined muscles, that's when you, like Steve had said, you want to isolate. And that's where those compounded resistance, mass building, strength movements come into play. And so, but say if you have an injury or you have something that inhibits you from doing that full range, you're not going to be able to build muscle if you're going to be dealing with some pain or if you're dealing with some range of motion limitations.
Right. Getting a trainer is always a good idea just to, even if you're experienced lifter, it's like getting a second opinion. And look, I was a personal trainer, I don't know, 45 years ago. And things are different now,
Yes.
and what I was doing was all high end stuff, but things are different now. We've learned more and the science has progressed. What are some other your thoughts about these differences? Bullet points you said.
Bullet points. Okay. Well, I just have some questions for the audience, when it comes to making a goal or seeing what you want to do when you walk into any gym, regardless of Parkway. I'm very biased, love our gyms, but any gym, let's be so for real. Do you want to train for strength or do you want to train for life performance? If you had to pick one, do you want to look strong or you want to move strong? So some of those are the talking points because it depends on what's important to you. For me, like 5 years ago, I was at a heavy weight of 170 pounds. So
Wow.
I just wanted to look strong or like move heavy things because to me, I was like, wow, this girl's not doing well, so I just thought that muscle would help me. So I didn't have any functionality and I moved a lot of weights. What I had learned and changed my goals since then is adding more functional because I was noticing some tightness and weakness and imbalances a lot with my coordination and the way that specific parts of my bodies had moved. So my goals had changed dramatically to where now I don't want to just look strong. I want to live longer and move like in that same way. So that's where I want to ask people, what do you want to do? Do you want to look strong or do you want to move strong? And once you can answer that, then you can move forward as to which set of goals. But again, the best answer for anybody is a combo of both mass gaining with functional.
Yeah, if you do functional exercises of things like a farmer's carry, pushing a sled, you're going to move stronger, no
Hmm.
doubt.
Yeah. Now, will you get the biggest arms or biceps out of that movement? Probably not. Probably
Right.
not. But you will get some good, I mean, you are I've seen some results where you've gotten some good quad and hamstring and calf definition from a sled push because you are outputting that force and that power still. Another thing I want to go over is really what strength training or resistance mass gaining is more about how much you can lift, and functional is about how well you can move. So going back to what are your goals? How much do you want to lift? A lot amount of like numbers on that scale. You want to lift a lot of it, or do you want like how well do you want to move? So
Like a
what do you
power
do?
lifter. A power lifter is interested in what they can bench press, what they can squat, and what they can deadlift. That's
Yes.
all.
They don't care about anything else. And so some like power lifters, they might implement, a little bit of like accessory muscles to help aid in that. But for the most part, that is their goals. While functional is the full body, the full everything, mobility, flexibility, along with joint stability and coordination, heavy on balance, a lot of core coordination as well. So yeah, I can go on about this, but I'm trying to keep it within our timelines.
Well, any last important points that you wanna make?
Let's see what I have to write up. Let's see. Well, no, I think we pretty much, hit all our points. We've gone over pros and cons. I mean, you're going to find pros and cons to everything. People find mass building a little bit less exciting because, deadlifts, bench press, squats, when you do that over and over, you get pretty kind of monotonous. And in functional training, it builds more coordination, stability, and real life strength. But some of the cons that resistance and mass building, it neglects balance and mobility. It doesn't
Yeah.
directly relate to real life movements. And there's a higher risk of injury if form or load isn't managed. So those are some of the cons. For some of the cons of functional training is it's kind of hard to progressively overload if not properly structured. You can often use it as circuit training and people are just kind of moving fast or just like adding kettlebell swings because that's what they think that they want and kind of steering away from the actual movement of why you're doing that for that multi-plane usage. And then it's harder to measure improvements. Like you can't just like put a measuring tape around someone's back and be like, you got functionally strong there. You start noticing it on your daily activities like, wow, I no longer have to take 4 trips to go to bring my laundry down from upstairs downstairs. Now it's a 1 to 2 tripper, or however it translates to your real life.
Yeah, those are great points, and that last point's really good, and we'll let you go, but, if you're doing functional exercises, you're going to look better, and you're gonna feel better, and you're gonna function better, no matter what your age. Now, if you're trying to look pretty, there's nothing wrong with that, but you might not function better. You might not have the flexibility that you would have if you just throw in some functional exercises.
I
So,
agree.
Raylene, if people want to follow you online, social media, how do they do that?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Raylina Valenzuela. My page is Trainer Raylina, Raelena. You can find me on Facebook, same Raylina Valenzuela. You should see my name at the bottom. And then on our Parkway Instagram page, along with Vitality and Wellness here on YouTube with Steve now. So you can find me anywhere. I'm pretty much trying to be out in the community as much as possible. Stop by, say hi, get my card, make a phone call, text me. Let's connect.
All right. Thanks for being here, Raylene.
Thanks so much.